Young TV, let's do it.
And the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown letter. Peace be
Young
unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, Rob, if you up late with us, hit that like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Now, people might be wondering, what is he going to talk about on this? Who is Pope Stanley Earl III? Right? Like some people might even Googling, remember to see who Pope Stanley Earl III is. Well, Pope Stanley Earl III is a made-up character, but we aiming at something here. And it's actually a real dude named Stanley Earl, who's going around viral on Instagram and TikTok about some of the comments and remarks that he made. But we ain't here to talk about that guy. We here to get some across. Now we notice that when we go into certain establishments, they got to have approval from the Pope. Like if the Pope say you cool, if Pope Stanley Earl say you cool, then you cool. So you can sell drugs if Pope Stanley Earl put his stamp on it. Now, how does Pope Stanley Earl put his stamp on you? He say, oh yeah, well you are now that you got paperwork from me and I stamped it, you are now a pharmacist. You're not a witchcraft guy anymore. See, the guys that don't get down with Stanley Earl is a witchcraft guy, and he's a drug dealer, and he should be taken to court and put in prison because he didn't get Pope Stanley Earl's approval to sell those drugs. But a guy that got Stanley Earl's approval, he can sell them though. How does that work? How does that work? Are you arresting the guy because you ain't getting a cut off his drugs he's selling? Or are you arresting the guy because what he's doing is a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? What is it? I'm trying to figure this out. Right? Because they long as they do that at pharmacy, it's cool. But when the guy don't get ain't giving Pope Stanley Earl a cut, see now he going off doing the wrong thing. He ain't get no license from they call it a license. He ain't get a license to deal from Pope Stanley Earl. Tell you, man. Pope Stanley Earl got to get his cut now. And under the Papist bull, they signed pretty much to get that. The Papist bull, to sum it up for all my street guys, is to get down and lay down. That's what it is. Really much of you sum it up. It's either you're gonna get down and be a Christian, or we're gonna put you out of business, unalive you. Right? So And then they go in their very text that they when they handing us this book, in the very text it says you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven by force. Well, they sure made us do it. They made us enter this system at gunpoint. You know what I'm saying? We had to enter into their kingdom of heaven at gunpoint when they act. The Spanish Inquisition. You know what it is. You know what time it is. Can't handle the truth, right? So they Pope Stanley Earl put down to get down or lay down, and that's pretty much in everything. You can go to Las Vegas and get a license to sell mushu. You can get a license to sell mushu in Las Vegas, Pope Stanley Earl III to prove it. But if you go off anywhere else now doing it, see, Pope Stanley Earl said it's cool in Las Vegas. You can go out to Las Vegas, you can open up the Bunny Ranch. As long as you get a license stamped by Pope Stanley Earl, that's approved. But see, now if you go off talking about you some done magic wand and all this right here, and you ain't got a cut, giving the Pope a cut, hey man, see, that ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna fly. Pope Stanley Earl got to get his cut, man. When you go off into all their establishments, they have these plaques on the wall saying that we've been approved by Pope Stanley Earl. I'm telling you, man. It don't matter what it is. If you a barber, you cannot legally cut in the shop without Pope Stanley Earl people coming to shut you down if he ain't signed you up and say, oh, we gave you a license to practice barber in whatever state. Pope Stanley Earl approved it. So now you cool. You can cut hair, man. You got Stanley Earl said that you a barber. Now, if you go doing it off at your house and all that, Stanley Earl, he ain't got eyes everywhere, but if he catch you doing it, he gonna try to find you and do all kind of want to take your clippers and all this stuff. Now you can't. Now listen at this. You like fishing? No problem. Long as you go to Pope Stanley Earl to get you a fishing license first, then you can go out there and catch fish on your own land. You can't go out on your own out there on no lake now, talking about catching no fish if you ain't talked to Pope Stanley Earl first. Now, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So Pope Stanley Earl got to give you what he call a license. You can't even drive around nowadays if you don't know the game without Pope Stanley Earl approving you to drive. Seems like Pope Stanley Earl got us. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man. Pope Stanley Earl III gonna get him a cut now. Don't you go off trying to be a doctor and don't get Pope Stanley Earl saying that he approved. I sent this guy to 10 years to and brainwashed him to where he pretty much don't know how to heal. He just know how to treat, and he approved. Now, if you go off trying to be like a Dr. Sabi, now see Stanley Earl didn't approve that you a witch doctor. And if you say you got a cure for anything, yeah, Stanley Earl ain't approving no cures because that ain't how he make money. Stanley Earl ain't approving no cures, man. Stanley Earl III. Matter of fact, we'll tell you what, because Stanley Earl III, the hustler, sell us your whatever you got, and we'll put a patent on it. That way, nobody can use it. I'm telling you, man. And if you don't want to sell it to us and let us patent it, we'll X you out, pretty much, alive you, whatever the case may be, and then take it anyway. So it's best with these guys, they on the get down and lay down. I tell you, man, you gotta go study the Papist Bull. The Papist Bull is pretty much get down and lay down. So that's they tell you these whole guys' mentality. And then when you think about, okay, why would they use the word bull? Because you gotta think about the mentality of a bull. A bull, if you study the bulls, you can't put two bulls in the same pen together, because those two bulls always fight for territory. They always fight for who the alpha male. So you got to take a male bull and put them in different pastures with different female bulls. You can't just put them in there with another male bull, right? So you got to think about the ideology they're using when they talk about the Papist bull. It's a bull mentality. It's we going up, can't nobody stop us. We taking over the world. We gonna rule the world in the name of Pope Stanley Earl III. Yeah, he got his hands in on everything, man. If you ain't doing nothing, man. If they catch you, listen to this. You can't sell nothing that Stanley Earl got selling without him approving it. If it's something new, even if you selling it, and if it's something new, he gonna want to come and see what you got. And if it's good enough to make us a lot of money, he gonna want his cut. And if you can't give him his cut, he'll take over the whole thing or shut you down. Don't make Pope Stanley Earl send his guys in there on you, man. You can practice being a doc. You can be a medicine guy. Loans spoke Stanley Earl say, okay, yeah, he approved. We'll now call him a doctor. But if you don't want to get that approval, see, now you a witch. You a warlock. He's a witch and a warlock, and he should be burned at the stake pretty much nowadays. Lock him in prison. You know what I'm saying? That's the being burned at the stake. Lock him, give him to 135 years. Give him 200 years. Give him 200 years and another 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Well, who coming up with these numbers? Just tell the man life. Right? A man ain't gonna live 100 and some years. You get a man. That's an insult. What are they saying to you? They saying, I hate you. That's what they saying when they give you 100 and something years. I hate you, man. I hate you so much. If you die and come back, we're gonna keep you in jail. That's how much we hate you, man. That's the type of mentality these guys got. Because you know why? You know why it's like that? You know why it's like that? Because he didn't get approval for Pope Stanley Earl. And when you go to be a teacher, you got to get approved by Pope Stanley Earl to teach in public schools. Why? Because Pope Stanley Earl got a guideline of what he wants the bots to be taught. He want the bots to be taught religion and regular basic education, mainly religion though, not the real religion. He want them to be taught what they term as dogma. He want dogma, belief. This whole type of game pumped in because if people start getting wind of what's going on, man, they gonna make a dent in Pope Stanley Earl's money. Now, I'm gonna tell you this: if you go out and messing with Pope Stanley Earl money, like Nipsey Hussle, a couple more other guys, man, it's a whole bunch of guys. They go out and say, you know what? I'm gonna tell people about Dr. Savy, like Left Eye from TLC, and boom, all of a sudden her car tires blow out or some brake go out, she go out the road and crash. Only person in the car dies her. Just like that last thing, what a lady, what her name is, somebody drop it in the chat. Well, her Sprinter van just flipped over, and there's about 15 people or so or whatever in the car. She the only one that get took out. Why? Because she was about to be messing with Pope Stanley Earl's money. What happened to Prince? Prince was trying to mess with Pope Stanley Earl's money, man. Don't go out messing with the Pope cut. Pope Stanley, Angie Stone, that's her name. Shout out Letitia. Right? Shout out I Am Who I Am, right? 777. Right? Yeah, man. So don't you can't do nothing without a license over here. But if you got a license, you can they got Pope Stanley Earl got license to kill. Like they passing out license to kill. Now it's this thing going around about this dude who killed this cop who was supposedly killed his son. Come to find out, I don't think he even killed the cop that killed his son. He just killed the first cop he could find. To me, man, the whole get down of that was just seem retarded to me. To me, he ain't really get no get back. He killed a random cop. He didn't kill the cop that killed his son, right? And then he walking up in there like he bad and mean mugging the cops. Man, let me tell you something. Man, if you kill a police, you know he going. They probably ain't going. They already roughed him up. You can see a couple of knots on top of his head already. But after this is all over. Out of the media, man, I'd be surprised if he live a year. I'd be surprised if he live a year, man. They gonna hang that guy in the cell, man. I'm telling you, man. What he just did bought him a straightway ticket to a long, hard road, man. They gonna probably torture him for a whole year and try to see if that'll cause him to do it to himself. And if that won't, they'll come in there and do it themselves, make it look like he did it. That's who you dealing with. So that was idiotic to me If you ain't get the cop who got your son, I mean, and then not to mention your son took the cops on a high-speed chase. And then essentially, this is what we hearing. I don't know how much of this is true. They say that this boy pulled a gun on the cop that shot him. So I mean, come on, man. It's like, how is that even like to me, it's not even right. Yeah, he ran over a random cop, not even the cop that killed his son. So how does that? I mean, you got to get back to the police. But I'm saying the dude that killed your son still out though. You know what I'm saying? He's still out. He's still a police. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. Like, to me, that was just the devil. It's like even on the dude part that ran today, it's the devil. Because your son pulled the gun, went on a high-speed chase with the police and pulled a gun on him. He was asking for what he got. You know what I'm saying? But then you go kill a random cop. Come on, man. And then he walks in the court mugging the police. Man, Pope Stanley Earl don't like that, man. Pope Stanley Earl don't like that you walked in there and mugged them police like that. So you know what Pope Stanley Earl gonna do? Pope Stanley Earl already put the hit on him. Soon as that boy get out the media, well, it just fade out. Well, we forget about him, and pretty much people gonna probably forget about him probably 2 weeks from now. Man, 2 weeks from now, man, when you see that boy gonna look like Martin Lawrence after Tommy Hearns just got through with him. I'm surprised he probably ain't looking like that right now. And they probably beat him up real bad, and then this right here probably happened a while back. They probably beat the guy real bad, and then bring him in front of the camera 2 weeks later after his head go down. I'm telling you, that's how these guys work, man. I didn't see what they do. So I'll be surprised if this guy make it a year after all this died down. I'm telling you, man. He better be lucky he ain't Mississippi. He wouldn't have made it to court. You would even probably heard about this besides, guy found buried in an unmarked grave. That's what you would if people did that in Mississippi. Tell you, man. In the crooked eye state. Man. Ain't no way. So yeah, 2043, technically 2043. Shout out Commando Swan, man. 2043. But if you just not tuning in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. But we talking about why we gotta have a license to do anything. Why we gotta be approved. This what I don't get. The guys that approve poison to be put into stores. Different types of poison in the foods. If you read the back of certain foods, a lot of the ingredients is poison. These guys approve that. Pope Stanley Earl approved that, right? Pope Stanley Earl approved fruit-torn corn syrup, and they banned it in other countries. Pope Stanley Earl approved the pork that they selling here, and it's sold by Chinese who won't even let it come. Look, this is the killer, man. Chinese over here raising pigs and selling pork to Americans, but then they won't even export that stuff to their country. They banned U.S. pork, and they the guys that making it over here. Look, the guys that's raising hogs is the Chinese over here, and they banned it from coming over there. So, man, you don't think that's some kind of what you call, man, maybe they poisoning the turkeys. I mean, the pigs over here to as a secret warfare against the Americans. But the only people that will eat pork is the people who are not with us. Like the people that with the Nation of Islam don't eat pork. The Hebrew Israelites don't eat pork. A lot of our people don't eat pork. So the people that eat pork, man, you got to go look into that. Go look into the Chinese own most of the pig factories over here, and then they won't export that shit to their country. Now, what's up with that? Why Pope Stanley Earl letting that happen? Pope Stanley Earl ain't said nothing about that. So I'm just saying, man. And then a lot of the stuff, it ain't even pork no more. It's laboratory grown pork and artificial flavored pork. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. These guys going China, they taking us deeper. And Pope Stanley Earl III is taking us deeper and deeper into the matrix. And they want to keep people that still up going with this dogma and some Jesus gonna come out the clouds. Man, this is 2025. Anybody going with it, just keep walking, man. Don't try to shut them down because they're gonna try to make you look like you a devil. And some people need that, the older crowd, but people that's maybe like 40 and down, 40 and younger, man, we ain't going for it no more. We can't keep on. Pope Stanley Earl can't keep selling us this same thing and then thinking we gonna pay and keep his lights on so he can keep this game going. We ain't paying no more for Stanley Earl to keep his lights on, man. So how could you sell something and you don't got a license? Now they gonna come. It's because all crimes are commercial, keep in mind. Even murder. They made murder a commercial crime. They ain't coming after you for the murder. They coming after you because that was I'm gonna tell you, and you will notice this when you watch. I watch Sports 48 all day, every day, right? And only a lot of the crimes, if they ain't really a tax-paying citizen, like there's somebody else a criminal or something, or somebody else a bad apple, they don't really look that hard for the person that killed them because they ain't really losing that much money on that. But if they're a tax-paying citizen and they were gonna be paying taxes to the Pope Stanley Earl, I see that you messing with Pope Stanley Earl's money now. Now they got to come after you and put you in prison so they can make up for that money because they're gonna make money while you in prison, maybe around $30,000 a year off of you being in prison. The Pope gonna get his cut off of it. The Pope said you can go, hey man, you know what? You can go down there and sell that dope, but you got to put it in the building and you got to put pharmacy on the front, which actually means witchcraft, right? Go look it up, man. It's German for witchcraft, right? But you can sell it there, and you put this sticker on the wall saying that Pope Stanley Earl approved it. Man, ain't nobody gonna even question you about you being a dope dealer. But now if you go stand on the corner and you have some little rocks in your pocket and you selling, see now Stanley Earl didn't approve it. Stanley Earl didn't approve it, man. You got to get a permit to open up a food truck, anything. You got to have some kind of permit. And a permit is a synopsis or short for permission. We got to have permission to make money on our own land or make some kind of and I'm gonna look into that because I believe it's something in the Indigenous Rights Act where they can't stop you from trying to make some kind of living for your family without them having to give you a license of Pope Stanley Earl having to put his stamp on it. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be some in the Indigenous Rights laws. I'm about to go look more into that about how they say, you got to have a cut. You got to give us a cut. You got to pay us the taxes. And I'm saying, dang, man, how much money do y'all want? Because y'all don't need no more money. The Romans don't need no more money. Is it a form of control just to keep the money circulating out of our pocket? So as long as they got a tab on us, they can keep us down. As long as they got a tab. Stanley Earl keep his tab, and then when you don't pay his tab, he just let it build up for 7 years. Then he say, oh yeah, well now you owe me. Whoop. And if you don't want to pay me, I'm gonna come and take your house. We pretty much already own your house. You don't really own it. You are a tenant still. Even after you signed all that shit and paid off at the bank, you still a tenant. Go read your shit. Go read your deed close. You're still a tenant. Because Pope Stanley Earl still own that house. You know how you know? Because you got to pay Pope Stanley Earl what they call a house tax every year. You got to pay taxes on that. If you own it, why are you still paying Pope Stanley Earl III every year? Now Pope Stanley Earl got to get his cut now, or we'll just take it and give it to another bot, and they'll pay Pope Stanley Earl to stay there. You know, they're telling you. And we'll start them all the way from scratch. Even after we just got in, when you didn't pay your house, no. Even if the bank get the insurance paid off, so the bank already got paid. Everybody already got paid. You the only one that losing out on the back end. What about the Etruscans? You can't handle the truth. The Etruscans, right? The Etruscans are the guys who sit at the top, who are partially the nomos in human cause, man. Because the nomos told us they were gonna come back looking more human. Those who came to know the most. And no most could translate into law in one fraction. So who's creating this law? Because the law is in Latin. And the Moors were the ones that were doing all this Latin, right? Which is Sanskrit backwards. Yeah, the Moors were doing the Latin because look, they talk. Pope Stanley Earl created to where you would be down to the fact. When you go to the hospital, they speak in a whole nother language. They ain't talking about chest. They saying abdomen. They saying other. They got a whole nother language in the medical field. That's in Greek format, right? Then when you go into the courts, they speak in a whole nother language. You got to go get a black law dictionary and other law dictionaries just to translate what they saying, because they use words like incompetent, ward. He's a ward, pretty much translated to subject, or pretty much you a retard. So we got to stand over you and be your power of attorney because you don't know nothing. You don't know enough. You don't know law terms. You got, hey, that's right. Who that is? Money Boy Films. They got medical terms and then they got law terms. It's a whole nother language. And they don't teach us this shit in regular school. They don't teach us regular like when you said like all suffixes with itis. Itis is dealing with inflation. I mean dealing with not inflation. It's dealing with I'm gonna take of it in a minute. Where the mucus actually is flooding that particular area. It's called because it got laryngitis, all these itis, right? Itis is an infection, and it's like infection is the word I'm looking for. But they got all these terms. Yeah, inflammation. Thank you. Thank you for the in the chat. Inflammation. So itis is another term or suffix which means information. So anytime you see that particular suffix on the end of a word, it means an information in medical terms, right? For all my people that study that been in the medical field, studying the medical field, right? Yeah, make sure you teach yourself. Make sure you go out and do your own research, right? But what I'm saying is they got a whole nother language, man. And you can go learn the language, the medical field language. But to me, that's all baloney. To me, it's all baloney, man. It's like a lot of that shit is all baloney because they don't none of that stuff make no cures. Think Dr. Sebi knew all that. Dr. Sebi used to say, oh, it's only one disease, right? Mucus, inflammation. It was only one disease, right? They went through all them books, all them 2,000 words trying to describe one thing, and they ain't cured nothing. So all that shit is a waste. And their legal system, right? Their legal system with all these different words was just a alchemical trick to try to see to it that when we came in the court, we would be lost foot in the sauce. Because keep in mind, like Mark Brady used to tell us, a court is a place where games are played. And Pope Stanley Earl know how to play the game now. If you go in the court and they playing basketball and you brought a football, you're behind his ass out, right? You got to get served, right? And then if you say like they did Dr. Malachi Z York, hey, well, I got a basketball and your gym shorts in the car, I can go out and get it. You go out there and get your gym shorts and come back with your basketball. They say, oh, well, we switching the game up. We playing a new game now. It's called golf. And then you say, well, I got a golf court in the car. I know how to play golf. Well, they say, well, we don't got time to wait on you to go get yours. The game is on, right? They don't play fair. The game is rigged. You think they play fair when they had they tried Dr. Martin Luther? I mean, when they tried Dr. Malachi Z York on Martin Luther King's birthday on a federal holiday, right? And they had the courts closed to the public so they can rig them. Just like they rigged Marcus Garvey and all the rest of them. Pope Stanley Earl, man. That's why, because they was messing with Pope Stanley Earl's money. And you got these jokers riding around now, still promoting the dogma. But all that stuff get ready to die out. The Piscean age information has got to go. Pope Stanley Earl can pack his shit up and get the hell on. And because the Piscean age is going out now. Right? We're going into the Aquarian age where information is about to flow. The truth gonna be told, whether you like it or not. And these people should have learned. If you take out one, 7 more will replace that person. So they thought that they stopped Dr. Malachi Z York when they arrested him. Man, you just made it worse. Because you know how many Dr. Malachi Z Yorks are his children is walking around that's sharp and know the right knowledge. Man, you messed up. They would have probably still been on the land listening to the doc. But now they all spaced out all over, talking to people every day. Man, you messed up, man. I'm telling you, man. Now, that's the arrest of Dr. York sped up your demise. You probably would have bought some time by leaving them out. I'm telling you, man. Because everybody would have still been following Doc, sitting there, huddled around Doc. And it would have been growing. But now right knowledge is spread all over the world, man. It was like it's like a wildfire. The gospel that angel had to spit from in Revelation chapter 14. The gospel is the truth. One of those truths is that American dollar is not bagged by gold anymore. The whole world knows it now. Right? One of those truths, one of those gospels. You know what a gossip is, right? Gospel is when somebody go around spreading information about you. Right? So the truth of the matter is that America's been scamming everybody. It's what the word on the streets. They perpetuated this, and for the main part, they robbed the Nubians and then won't come out to tell us the truth. When is they gonna come out to tell it? The so-called Jewish people in Jerusalem came out to threaten America if they don't keep paying them ransom, they gonna come out to tell the people over here they the real children of Israel, that this land is Israel, and that they the real natives to this land, if they don't keep paying that $300 billion a year. So Trump, he liked them, so I guess he gonna keep paying them. But everybody else, they finna cut off. Say it's lagging. Yeah, so I'm lagging. So we at the point now where we don't need no more preachers. It ain't no more time for leaders that don't know how to lead. I remember I used to put one of the brothers used to say this at the beginning of Dr. Malachi Z York tapes. Right? We don't got no more time for preachers like Messy Jesse and Reverend Al Sharpton, who just keep us pacified. And we ain't, hey, look, they might take us as a militant or a rowdy bunch, right? Organization. But we ain't rowdy. We ain't out to overthrow the government. We ain't out to start no wars. We ain't gotta overthrow the government. The government overthrew themselves by having crooks into the government and not they pocketing money and a lot of crooked things going on. So the government took down themselves, not the people. The government ended themselves. So we ain't got to overthrow the government. We ain't got to overthrow the government. They overthrow their damn self, for one. And if you come out to us to stop us, 7 more will replace us, if not more at this point. I'm telling you, man. So all you can do is run. All they can do is run. And you can't hide. Just run. Because it ain't the beginning you want to worry about. It's the end now. Like Tahuti told him, it ain't the beginning you want to worry about. It's the end, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, so Stephen Bay, man. So it gotta be something in the indigenous. I think I read something in the indigenous rights manual where we got the right to do commerce without them saying, oh, Pope Stanley Earl gotta have his cut on that or stamp that, right? And then a lot of the stuff that they coming after us for, it ain't really no laws on the books. It's all city ordinance and codes. Oh, it's a city ordinance. You gotta have a permit, or because the city ordinance for you to be parked right here with your food truck and this and that. You know, they run that type of game, and it's ways around it. But it's like this, man. It's if it ain't a whole bunch of us standing up for the same thing, they'll just oust you as being a bad apple and then make an example out of you and scare everybody else off, like they did. Like that's one of their tactics. I mean, I remember I got a cousin, man. I got a cousin named Little Antoine, right? And this right here was maybe about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer. My little cousin, he older than me. Antoine, he lived in New York all his life. But then his daddy was in the military, and his wife was from New York. He met her in the military, and so they was in New York for a while. But then they got divorced. Big Antoine, my cousin, moved back to Louisiana, right? But then one summer, his son Little Antoine came to visit him. Man, check this. So Little Antoine, he was really into the more science hard. He knew at that time, he knew way more than I knew about it. Right? I'm gonna tell you what this dude was doing, man. My cousin Little Antoine, he got kicked out of the city because of this. The mayor kicked him out of the city, right? On the more science tip. Listen to this. So he was come to the tie shop, and he was doing all this talking, right? And his dad and all my other cousins would say, man, you got to get with your cousin Quan. No, they didn't call me Young Yellow, they called me Bucci. That's my nickname, right? And so you got to get with your cousin Bucci, man, because y'all talk about the same stuff. Y'all, because he was making their head hurt with all the stuff that he was saying, right? They couldn't even fathom what he was saying. But they said you need to get up with your cousin Bucci because y'all kind of like on the same, talking about the same stuff, right? Because I was on the more science stuff too, right? So I come up to him, I end up meeting him, right? And we started talking, and he was telling me stuff, man, about land, how to do something about landmarks, man. And matter of fact, my girl told me I need to get up with my cousin Antoine, find out where he at, and bring him on the show. And I'm that's what my next move is: find little Antoine, bring him on the show. This dude right here, he a whole nother level with the more science, right? So when he came down there to Louisiana, wasn't nobody really knowing about what was going on. And he was talking about landmarks, and he gonna do something with, man. Look, he went around the city. He didn't want to get a car, or no, he didn't want to get no license and none of that. He said the bus and cabs was his transportation, right? He was full active Moor, right? Man, this dude started walking around the city, finding abandoned properties, going down to the county clerk's office, finding the longitude and latitude on that property, and claiming the property as abandoned property. Then after that, he would go down to this other place, and the government or the city would give him a grant for 15 or whatever the money, 15,000, whatever he could talk him out of, to put into the property to fix it up. And he did this to like 2 or 3 properties. Man, this dude went down there 3 months. Look, he went down there 3 months, cuz. And he was already going around claiming abandoned property, and because they had this thing in the city where if that property is being abandoned for a while and it's going down, they would give you a grant, a city grant, to fix that property up. He was getting city grants, right? But that ain't what got him kicked out of the city. What got him kicked out of the city is every time he'd be walking around, if he went on the bus or the cab or whatever. And when he see a black person, a Nubian, so-called black, right? We're using the word black out of context, but when he see a dark brother getting harassed by the police, right? He would stop there while they messing with the brother, because that happens a lot where we from, right? Brothers get pulled over like 24/7, right? So he would walk around and see somebody black get pulled over, and he would sit there and call out all the laws that the police breaking. Every chance he got, every time he saw a cop pulling somebody over that was a Nubian, he would sit there, and if they would watch him, and if they were breaking any laws, he would tell the person that was sitting in the car the laws that they were breaking, right? So he started They started wanting to know his name, right? And one of the police ended up taking his name, so they got his name into like this little thing that this guy to watch. All right, so then he downtown going to the courthouse looking for something about landmarks. I got to get him on, man, to figure out what he was, because he told me, but I can't remember. But it was something about the landmarks in the city. Maybe one of my Moors in the chat can drop it. It was something about landmarks, and he could claim the property based on the landmark or something like that, man. It was crazy, right? But it was deep what he was saying. He was actually doing it. But he goes downtown and he was walking across. He walked across the street where they got certain parts where you got the white line. You got to hit the button and walk across the street. But he didn't go right there. He just walked across the street. So the police arrested him for jaywalking. Right? Listen to this, man. Look. So they had him down now. He went fingerprint or nothing. Wouldn't tell him nothing because he said, I don't gotta tell y'all nothing. He was staying out of all the more side shit, right? He don't gotta tell y'all nothing. I don't gotta give y'all my fingerprint, none of this, right? So they threw him in a cell. And the whole time he was in the cell, I think it's about like 10 hours, they said, he was stating out laws that okay, it's another hour, so it's another 1,500. I charge 1,500 every hour for my time. Whoop the whole Moorish rundown. Y'all know to get that, right? And eventually they let him out. But they looked at him like he was stirring up people because he was teaching people that stuff, man, and down in the jail, right? Yeah. I put that on my mama, man. I'm gonna try to get up with little Antoine and get him on the show. Because he probably on a whole, this right here was like 10 years ago. I know he on a whole nother level right now. And he was from New York, so he talked real fast. And down there they talk slow. So he really was talking circles around the people down there. They couldn't handle little Antoine, man. So he kept on harassing the police with the same thing I was telling you about when somebody get pulled over, or when they got some people in front of somebody. The last time that it happened, he got arrested. He was in front of somebody's house. The police was dealing with somebody at their house, or domestic violence or something like that. And he was out there and telling what the police, and they arrested him. And then word got back to his dad, because his dad connected a kind of way that, if you don't get little Antoine out of here, they finna try to set him up or have him done in or something. So his daddy sent him back to New York. But man, that was a good episode of the stuff that he was telling me then. He was rapping, blowing my mind about stuff that he was saying that I ain't never even heard of. And I was studying the more science. I wasn't that advanced in it then, but he was telling me stuff, man, that I ain't never even heard about the landmarks and all that. I was like, man, this is crazy. He was like, oh yeah, so it's a landmark right there. So that means that we can claim that property based on the date. Then he said, he told me about, I later on found about this, about the this city is the city of this. It's not the actual property. So that means that this is a fictitious corporation. He was going into all that right back then. But that dude, he went downtown, found seeing how long the property been abandoned, and if it had been abandoned for a certain amount of years, he was claiming it. I'm telling you, man. And I saw some, it's a whole bunch of Moors that was doing that. Some of them got humiliated by the news. They try to say, oh, these people, they call them squatters, right? They go squat into these rich elite mansions and stuff. But that's actually happening, man, around the world. But if Pope Stanley Earl ain't getting the cut now, Pope Stanley Earl III, Pope Stanley Earl got to get a cut off of everything you do. You want to sell cut hair? Go see Pope Stanley Earl. He approve of it. You want to be a drug dealer? Go see Pope Stanley Earl. He'll give you a title of pharmacist. You want to be a heal people? Well, you want to make a lot of money off of treating people? Go see Pope Stanley Earl, man. He'll make you a doctor. If you want to make some money in the law game, don't worry. Pope Stanley Earl will give you he give you the green light, man. Now you ain't gonna be able to do nothing but practice, right? Because you can't really legitimately do nothing legitimately over here. So you'll just be practicing. which is why they call their doctor's office practitioners, and they call their law office practicing. They only can practice. They cannot completely do it for 100%. Why? Because this ain't their land. They foreigners. They aristocrats. Go look up what a aristocrat is. They don't work for us. They work for Pope Stanley Earl III. The name of what in the chat? Put the name of what in the chat? Raquel, son of Michael. Raquel, son of Michael. It's almost time to blow that trumpet. Yeah, see, look. Yeah, you got to now. Pope Stanley Earl got to get your signature now. That's his main thing. Hey, could you please sign right here? That's his look. Pope Stanley Earl III favorite line is, could you please sign right here? Hey, would you believe this? It's a lot of people out here. Shout out my boy James Bay. Shout out all my baby kids in the building. It's a lot of people out here that don't read before they sign with Pope Stanley Earl. They don't read. People went out and got the jab. They didn't read. You see, they say, "Hey, you at your own risk when you sign this." Right? People don't read. Nubians really don't read, man. They just go in and sign. When they say, "Oh, we're gonna give you this card, just sign right here," but you ain't reading the fine print where it says you're gonna pay $600 a month for 7 to 8 years. You're paying 10 times what the card worth. You just sign. Don't look. Rule number 1 in this game. We talked this on the contract tape. Listen up. All my baby kids already know this. Listen up. Never sign anything without reading it. I repeat, never sign anything without reading it. Right? I'm gonna give you an example. One time I went to go get a job, and it was a fire-ass job, right? I was gonna be making so much money right on this job. And I went in and took the test, right? And I scanned through the test. I said, man, this ain't nothing, but it's easy, right? But I didn't read the top little paragraph. If you would have read the top little paragraph, all the answers was in this little, like 5-10 sentence paragraph. All the answers was there. But so I read it. So I didn't read the paragraph, right? I just did the test. And I got 9 out of 10 off of using my common sense, just off of the answer. So I missed one, right? But everybody else in there got everything right. Why? Because they read the little paragraph at the top, right? So I was the one that didn't get the job, and other people beat me out on the job because they read the little paragraph at the top, and they got it. Even though I had more credentials than all of them, because I got one answer wrong and everybody else got everything right. They said that, oh well, he must didn't read the paragraph. You know what I'm saying? So I had to read the paragraph, so I flunked out on it, man. So I learned from right then. Before I get down doing anything, make sure you read that whole thing, that whole setup, man. Read stuff before you sign it, because you could be signing your whole life away. You hear me? And at this point, see, we ain't never do no signing. We sign everything with a handshake and a nod. And we wasn't shaking hands with dirty Moors and guys that didn't wipe their hands after they got to dropping a deuce. We don't shake hands with guys that don't wipe their hands after they get through dropping a deuce. You know what I'm saying? Tahuti was a sage, Jedi. When I see Jedi sage, I think of Tahuti, because Tahuti was a Jedi sage. Yeah, so man, we about to get ready to get out of here. We didn't want to hold you long. This really was just a funny class, because a dude said, when I went to this one place, he said, oh no, you don't see, I'm approved. They approved me, I got a license. I mean, I'm saying, that don't mean you know what you're doing. Just because Pope Stanley Earl signed you up, and he'll sign anybody up, they're gonna pay him. Just because Pope Stanley Earl approved you, don't mean you legit. You look, Big Mama gotta approve you on this land for you to be legit. Big Mama gotta say, oh yeah, he legit. We don't take Pope Stanley Earl's word for it. Pope Stanley Earl don't got our best interest in hand. Pope Stanley Earl's interest is how much money can I make off of him. He don't got our well-being in hand. So any guy he hire, it's just the hire because he gonna pay. He gonna give me a cut of his money. Not because he gonna help the people out on the land. See, Big Mama pick her people off of, okay, not off of based off how much money he can give cut me in a deal. Is he gonna be beneficial to the children? That's the first thing. Is he gonna help the children? If there, it's two things, like Ross says, two things that they test to see if you gonna fly. And if it don't pass them two things, it ain't gonna fly. You ain't have to have no license on over here. All you had to do is have the Big Mama word. Big Mama said he cool. And if Big Mama say you cool, man, your business is gonna boom. But technically over here, like I said, we didn't need no hospitals because mostly everybody on the land was alchemists. That's really what that flag is about. That flag Noble Drew Ali got really is about the bloodline of some wizards. That's why they use that star for witchcraft and Baal and all that, because that star is dealing with an alchemical bloodline. That star and that flag is dealing with an alchemical bloodline of witches and warlocks who they got labeled as that by the Roman Catholic Church, but they actually were healers and people that knew about the land, knew about the different herbs on the land and what to use at that point. But do you got a license? If you a barber, you better have a license from Pope Stanley Earl, or you better go sit under somebody who Pope Stanley Earl approved. See, if you cut hair, you don't got no license, you can go sit up under a master barber and see Pope Stanley Earl approved him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta have a marriage license. Pope Stanley Earl gotta approve your marriage. When you have a kid, Pope Stanley Earl gotta sign the birth certificate to say that he getting the cut on that. He gotta get his cut in on everything, man. I'm telling you, man. So at this point, our methods that we use it to try to get out of Stanley Earl's grip is, okay, so what rights do we have? If we got any rights on these foreigners are always trying to get a cut out of us, or say that, how is that right? When the natives, when you over here selling stuff to our people on the land, then we try to sell that same stuff, but if we ain't get approved by Pope Stanley Earl, we criminals. See, if I deal drugs and I don't Pope Stanley Earl didn't approve me, I'm a criminal. But if I go to a pharmacy and sell it, I ain't no criminal. I'm a legitimate law-abiding citizen approved by Pope Stanley Earl. You see what I'm saying? And that goes with every other thing that they label as crime. Pope Stanley Earl robbing people blind, hand over fist, right? But that ain't no crime. But if you go rob somebody, they give you 5 to 99, depending on what state you in, right? That's a felony crime. Man, Pope Stanley Earl supposed to have, he got so many felony charges it ain't even funny. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that he did. Oh, you come to Pope Stanley Earl? Oh, you guys trying to sell something that's gonna cure people? Oh no, see, we can't approve that. That don't fly in this system. And like I said, they on the Papist bull. To sum it up, that's a get down and lay down. You gonna get down and be Christians, or we gonna take you out? So I gotta say to myself, what was we before? Because most of the Nubians over here Christians, and they put guns to your head to make you be Christians. They put guns to your head to make you believe in Jesus. Come on, man. They put guns to your head to force you to get the Bible and put it in your hand and start reading it. And then they turn around and say, oh, we don't want them to read no more. They make their mind up. They make their mind. You want us to read or you don't? You know what I'm saying? Right? We didn't have to read. We knew how to read. We just didn't read English. You know what I'm saying? Look, they try to make it like we ain't know how to read. We was dumb and all this. We knew how to read. We just ain't read English. That's your language. We had our own language we read in. You know what I'm saying? These people, they always give you make everything one-sided so they can just dumb us down and make us look retarded. Oh, they were living in teepees and running around in thongs. They couldn't read or write. Yeah, we couldn't read and write the English. We didn't speak English. We never even heard of it. For thousands of years, we was over here writing. And we never even heard of English. What the heck are they talking about? And we weren't living in no damn teepees. We had full building structures over here. And not only just one type, we had different type of building structures. Different tribes had their own types of buildings, right? Different tribes had their own way of building. If you look at the Hopi tribe, and you could call like them with Dogon, look at the style of buildings they build over in the desert area. It's a reason why the houses are like they are in Albuquerque and Phoenix and all that. Some of those building styles in those areas are Dogon building styles. Why? Because the Dogons and the Hopi really are the same people when you draw it back. The same culture, if you look at it. It's like a mirror culture to the same culture. But Pope Stanley Earl, when I put a tape out about that, Pope Stanley Earl say, man, we don't approve it. Huh? Pope Stanley Earl didn't approve it, man. What else y'all got? Yeah, man, we about to get back. We about to get back into the groove, man. Our DNA is being activated. And I'm gonna tell you, man, more y'all, this is one thing y'all need to do. More y'all need to start getting the African drum. Get the African drum, the Congo drums, all them drums, and start back playing them joints. Start back playing them drums. You hear me? Because them drums are the key instrument to unlock the junk DNA. They knew this. And this is why they stopped that drum. They try to pretty much get rid of it and bring in number synthetic. So get you some African drums, and every event you have, and every event or if you in your family, gather every certain amount of days, gather the family there, and y'all sit there about an hour or two and just play them drums, and then have a conversation. Play them drums and talk and have a spiritual conversation. And this is gonna start to activate that junk DNA. Right? I'm telling you, man. That's why they don't want us to have no African drums. Not just any. I'm talking about the Congo, the ones that Curtis Mayfield had in his music. That's why they got rid of people like Curtis Mayfield. They got rid of that type of music. They want to get rid of analog. So everybody get you some African drums and start playing them joints. Right? Get you some drums and start play it. Go outside. As the sun going down, and hit that drum for about 15-20 minutes. Send that energy into the air so we can start activating this junk DNA, man. I'm telling you, man, they don't want the eardrum, right? Hey, shout out Bay, the eardrum, right? Eardrum, right? So it's the reason why it's called that. The heartbeat, right? So all of it, the organs, right? It's all dealing with sound and music. Yeah, so get them drums, man. Start activating the children, because if you start playing it while the children young, boom, you're gonna start activating them young. And then watch how that drum speed the children's, because what they're gonna do is they got us off rhythm, which is why they study changing the time. Oh, it's the time spring forward 1 hour, or it's spring back now, right? They're trying to keep us off rhythm because they know we are rhythmatic people. So who he told y'all that we are rhythmatic people. So they got us off beat to keep our junk DNA from being activated, because they know it's based on a timer. Your DNA activation is based on a timer. But if they could throw that timer off, right, that would slow us down. And by getting rid of the drum, that's how they did it. But bring the drum back, that drum is going to start to reactivate that junk DNA, right? And it's going to get us back on rhythm, back on beat. Because if you notice, they off beat. Cut some music on, tell them to dance, they way over there. The beat right here, they way over there. They can't dance. Like Doc said, and if you want to know who with us, put some music on and tell them to dance. And if they on beat, they with us. If they off beat and way over there, they ain't with us. That's how you figure out who's who. I'm telling you, man. Because we got rhythm. We got another word for rhythm is soul. Power. Soul. So the drum is a part of that, activating that soul. because we're supposed to become a living soul. But we got to activate that last junk DNA, and the drum is instrumental in doing it, man, at this day and time, man. Tahuti told me that. Tahuti came to me one night and told me that, man. That the drum, we got to start back playing that African drum, man, because that's how you activate the junk DNA. Especially if we started in the kids. That's why I be loving to go to them events where all my family be at, and somebody have an African drum. They be out there playing. I be like, oh yes, see, that's gonna set the tone. That's gonna set the frequency. Have you ever been to an event where somebody playing an African drum and then something bad happened at that event? No, you ain't never been to an event where somebody playing an African drum now and then somebody get killed. No. But you been to an event where they playing Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, and then all of a sudden somebody get hit upside the head with a ball or something. Somebody get shot, stabbed. You're playing all that shit. But if you playing Curtis Mayfield with the African drum, man, nobody gonna get hurt up in there. Tell you, man. So it's a psychological game that's being played on us to keep us in a certain predicament, man. And we gotta bounce back. We ain't got nothing but like 3-4 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes or less. You know what I'm saying? Less than 5 minutes, really. So you see how fast we moving? We dropping something every day. We just put out the Marcus Garvey with Walter Plecker tape live. You can go check that out. It's right below this one. And also, we put out the whole storyline of Marcus Garvey. And we got the one about Master Farad Muhammad coming out tomorrow. And then following that, we'll have the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Clarence 13X and the Nation of Islam. I mean, we got the Nation of Islam one already out, coming out. But I mean, the 5%ers, that goes with the Clarence 13X tape. Right? So we'll be had most of that whole get down of coming down from Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey laced up for you in a playlist we got out called the Black Liberation Playlist. So you want to check that out. If you want to show us some love, man, on the Cash App, or you want to get the 8 books by the Young Elder, we still got the 8 books for the $45 donation to the Cash App or the PayPal. All you do is leave your emails in the links. We'll send you all 8 books in PDF form. Or if you just want to show us some love for the class, much love. We about to get up out of here, though, man, because everybody's sleeping and they got to go get up in the morning. We'll be back tomorrow, man. We non-stop action. We love you. Wadu. And Freedom Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi Z York.